A woman can spend hundreds of dollars on serums, retinol, and eye cream and still undo much of it during one ordinary 10-minute drive. Not because the products failed, but because no cream was ever designed to protect against habits it was never built to control. Today, we're looking at 7 everyday skin habits, commonly seen in Japan, the kind that rarely make it into a skincare ad. Some of these protect your skin more than an expensive cream ever could. One habit at the sink may be quietly weakening your skin barrier every single night without you ever noticing it happen. Another connects sugar to wrinkles in a way most people have never heard explained. Skin aging is shaped by genetics and time, but a real part of what we can actually influence comes down to prevention, not products. Instead of adding another cream to a crowded shelf, the more useful question is which repeated exposures are quietly wearing skin down. None of the 7 practices ahead depends on one expensive ingredient or a routine that changes everything overnight. What they share instead is repetition. The same small choice made day after day until it stops feeling like a decision at all. The first everyday practice worth examining happens before you even leave the house, and it has nothing to do with summer. In Japan, sun protection is rarely treated as a seasonal decision, and instead shows up daily, no matter what the sky looks like. For many women in Japan, parasols, wide brim hats, and daily sunscreen are used almost automatically, the way most people brush their teeth without thinking twice. Sun exposure is one of the biggest contributors to visible skin aging that we actually have some meaningful control over. Ultraviolet light breaks down collagen and elastin slowly over the years, contributing to fine lines, uneven tone, and looser feeling skin. That damage does not simply pause on a cloudy day, since UV rays still pass through cloud cover and reach the skin underneath. The same is true through car and office windows, which is part of why aging often shows up more heavily on one side of the face. Dermatology guidelines commonly recommend a broad-spectrum sunscreen of at least SPF 30, reapplied whenever you spend extended time outdoors. A wide-brimmed hat and lightweight long sleeves add a second layer of protection on days when reapplying sunscreen isn't practical. Treating sunscreen as a daily habit rather than an occasional beach day product is one of the simplest shifts anyone can make. Hands and neck are commonly missed during sunscreen application, even though both areas show visible sun damage just as easily as the face does. Dermatologists describe photoaging and natural aging as 2 separate processes, since sun-driven damage can be slowed even when the passage of time cannot. Sun damage accumulated in your 20s may not become fully visible until decades later, long after you've forgotten those unprotected days. But protecting skin outside means little if you damage its barrier every night at the sink. Most people cleanse their face the way they'd scrub a countertop, using pressure, friction, and sometimes an exfoliating brush. Skin is not a countertop, though. It's a barrier made of cells and lipids that hold moisture in and irritants out. Every time that barrier gets scrubbed or pulled too hard, it grows a little weaker, and weakened skin shows age faster. A gentle cleansing approach, common in Japanese skincare, relies on fingertips instead of cloths, and lukewarm water instead of hot. Water that's too hot strips and irritates the skin, which is exactly why dermatologists recommend lukewarm water instead. If you wear makeup or a water-resistant sunscreen, a suitable makeup remover cuts down on how much scrubbing your skin actually needs. Washing the face twice a day once in the morning and once at night is enough for most skin types. Strong exfoliation should never become an automatic daily habit, especially when skin is already dry, red, or sensitive. Patting skin dry with a towel instead of dragging it across the face is a small change that quietly adds up over time. A cleanser that leaves skin feeling tight and squeaky clean has usually stripped away more than just the dirt. Once the barrier is protected, the next question is how to keep water inside it. Some people prefer applying a lightweight lotion in 2 thin layers instead of one heavy coat, mostly because it simply feels nicer. Thicker creams and ointments hold moisture in more effectively for drier skin, according to standard dermatology guidance. Dry, flaky skin catches light differently than smooth, hydrated skin, which is part of why dehydration makes fine lines look deeper than they are. What matters most is applying moisturizer while skin is still slightly damp, far more than the exact number of layers used. Ingredients like hyaluronic acid and ceramides are commonly recommended because they draw in moisture and support the skin's barrier directly. Choosing a moisturizer that genuinely suits your skin type matters more than any specific layering technique you follow. A humidifier in a dry bedroom helps skin hold onto moisture overnight, especially during the colder months. Oily skin still benefits from a lightweight, oil-free moisturizer, even though skipping it entirely can feel like the obvious move. Hands and lips get overlooked during most moisturizing routines, even though both show dryness and fine lines early. Skipping moisturizer to save 2 minutes in the morning often costs more time later, once dryness and irritation show up instead. The fourth habit is where skincare leaves the bathroom and enters the kitchen. It centers on a process called glycation, where circulating sugar attaches itself to structural proteins like collagen and elastin. Once sugar binds to those fibers, they grow stiffer and less able to keep skin looking firm and springy over time. This process is accelerated by ultraviolet exposure, meaning sun damage and added sugar compound each other over the years. The link between long-term high blood sugar and tissue aging is well established, even if any single food's exact impact is not. Many traditional Japanese meals are built around fish, vegetables, seaweed, fermented foods, and comparatively modest portions of sweets. None of these foods work like a switch that instantly changes your skin, but a balanced diet supports it either way. Sugary drinks are an easy place to start, since they add a surprising amount of sugar without ever making you feel full. Foods higher in fiber slow down how quickly sugar entered the bloodstream, helping reduce the sharp glucose spikes that repeatedly expose collagen to excess sugar. Highly processed foods have also been linked to more inflammation in the body, a separate but related concern for skin health. A single sugary drink can contain as much added sugar as many desserts, without ever feeling like one. But even perfect daytime protection cannot replace what skin does after you fall asleep. Skin does much of its repair work while you're asleep, with increased blood flow and faster cell turnover during deep rest. A study published in Clinical and Experimental Dermatology found that poor sleep quality was linked to more visible signs of skin aging. The same research found that poor sleepers also recovered more slowly from sun-related redness compared with people who slept well. One perfect bedtime hour won't transform your skin overnight, but consistent, good quality sleep is a habit worth protecting regardless. Dimming screens and bright lights in the hour before bed makes it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep through the night. A short, repeated wind-down routine, even 5 or 10 minutes, signals to the body that it's time to slow down. Most health authorities recommend somewhere between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night for adults, though individual needs do vary. A cool, dark, and quiet bedroom supports deeper sleep than a bright or noisy one, regardless of the total hours logged. Even one rough night's sleep can already show up the next morning as puffier eyes and a duller-looking complexion. Sleep repairs the skin at night, and chronic stress can keep working directly against that repair during the day. Long-term psychological stress has been linked in research to a weaker skin barrier and slower recovery from common skin issues. Japan doesn't usually frame stress management as a skincare step at all, which might be exactly why it works so well. A slow evening bath, tea prepared without a screen nearby, or a short walk are treated simply as ordinary parts of the day. None of these activities need to be elaborate, since the benefit comes from consistency rather than any particular ritual. Reducing stress will not erase wrinkles, but it gives the skin barrier a real chance to recover from everyday irritation. Light physical activity, even a short walk, is one of the most reliable ways to bring stress levels back down. Simple breathing exercises, done for just a few minutes, can shift the body out of a heightened stress response quickly. A racing mind at night and reactive, easily irritated skin during the day can share the same hidden driver, a stress system that rarely gets the chance to switch off. And the final habit comes in a cup, but its real benefit is smaller and more honest than the internet usually claims. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG, an antioxidant that helps offset some of the free radical damage caused by UV light. It is not a substitute for sunscreen, and its visible effect on aging skin by itself is fairly modest. Most of the stronger research involves applying green tea extract directly to skin, rather than simply drinking a daily cup. Green tea will not replace sunscreen, but as a low-sugar daily drink rich in antioxidants, it supports the same overall goal. Other antioxidant-rich foods like berries and leafy greens work through a broadly similar mechanism. Herbal teas without caffeine offer a similar moment of pause for anyone who finds caffeine disruptive later in the day. One cup will not transform your skin, but replacing a sugary drink with green tea gives you antioxidants while removing something your skin does not need. Expensive products can help, but they cannot protect skin from habits that get repeated every single day. Sun exposure, aggressive cleansing, poor sleep, chronic stress, and excess sugar keep working whether a serum sits on the shelf or not. Japan's real lesson here was never a secret ingredient, it was consistency. Small protections repeated for so long, they become invisible. Of all 7 habits covered here, which one is missing most clearly from your own daily routine right now? Tell me in the comments, start with that one this week and give your skin the time it needs to respond. I'll see you in the next video. And thanks so much for watching this one all the way through.